Squad? Welcome to the Celebrity Scandalous group chat, y'all. Happy Wednesday. We are about to talk about some breaking news, some trending topics. Come on in to the chat, you guys. Join the chat. Please, let's get the likes up. If you are just getting here, do us a favor, hit that like button so other people can come on over and have a good time with us. So I don't know if you guys know, it is breaking news, you guys. Let me share this tab here. 1 second. Y'all, this is breaking news. We talked about this yesterday. The whole Karen HUGER. Well, you guys, the ish has hit the fan, and Karen HUGER has been found. Well, she's already been found guilty, but today was her sentencing. And Karen had been begging through herself, where they say, throw yourself at the mercy of the court. Karen had tried everything, talking about the fact that she was, touched in college. Y'all know what that means. Talking about the death of her parents. Like, she went back to college. That had to be like 30 years ago. Like, whatever happened to her in college was still traumatizing her. And I get it. I mean, hell, say whatever you need to say so that you don't have to go to, go to prison. But dang, yes, fair use. And Lulu, can you just let me know if you can hear me? I appreciate that. Thank you, ma'am. So basically she has been found guilty. So here's the article. It says, RHOP's Karen HUGER sentenced to 1 year in prison in DUI case. Wow. I did a video about this yesterday. I wasn't sure if she was going to do prison time or jail time, but generally if you do jail time, 1 year or less, you can do jail, but they're sending her to prison allegedly. It says Karen HUGER's fate has been decided over 2 months after the Real Housewives of Potomac star was found guilty on nearly all counts related to her March 2024 DUI arrest. The Bravo Levity was officially sentenced by a Montgomery County, Maryland judge to 2 years in prison. Oh, okay. With 1 year suspended during a February 26th court appearance, according to Washington, D.C.'s local Fox 5 News. Let me see. It says the decision means Karen will be behind bars for 12 months, after which she won't be allowed to drive a vehicle for another year, according to Fox 5 reporter who was in the courtroom at the time of sentencing. Oh my God, this is terrible. It says prosecutors citing Karen's 3 previous DUIs originally asked the judge for 2 years in prison with 6 months suspended for the reality star's latest arrest. I mean, Karen, this was 4 times, and y'all saw the car, how it was like hit a tree and stuff. The car was tore up. And my thing with Karen, I understand people have substance abuse issues, but you could use Uber. And the reason why people are so angry about it is because you could have unalived somebody. It could be somebody's child coming home from prom. It could be anything. Like, you don't just get to be sloppy drunk and get behind the wheel. It just, just don't do it. It says HUGER crashed her car last March near Bethesda, Maryland, after she crossed a median and struck street signs. The 61-year-old was charged with driving a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol, driving a vehicle while impaired by alcohol, negligent driving of a vehicle in a careless and imprudent manner, endangering property, life, and person, and reckless driving of a vehicle, wanton and willful disregard for safety of persons and property, and several other related charges, according to Maryland judiciary records obtained by E! News. I mean, the thing about it is, she's been warned time and time again. When she was given the opportunity to go to like a rehabilitation, they're saying allegedly she took a vacation instead. So I think the judge was just tired of her. It says 1 day after the arrest, Karen spoke out to share insight into her mental state before the incident and how she was coping afterwards. Thank you all for all of your prayers and well wishes during this very frightening experience. Girl, frightening for who? You the one out here drunk driving, girl, please. She said it very frightening. Frightening is the fact that you had to go before a judge and you were being called out for your poor behavior. She said in a statement to TMZ, I am still in shock from last night's. I can't believe this woman said this. But grateful to be alive. You should be grateful you didn't hurt somebody. With the passing of my beloved mother, grief comes and goes in waves. And with Mother's Day approaching, it has felt more like a tsunami. And I get what she's saying. We all have, issues and pains and woes, but you don't get to sit up here and be effing drinking and driving and putting other people's lives in jeopardy. Like, we all got issues and problems. Take an Uber. That's it. If you know you like to get wasted, you like to get sloppy, girl, get an Uber to drop you off wherever you're going to drink. I was crying on my way home and saw a car heading right for me. I swerved to avoid the head-on collision, hit the divider, and then a tree. I'm hurt, bruised up a bit, but so grateful I'm alive. The part that kills me is you being grateful you're alive. You ought to be grateful you didn't unalive somebody else. That's the issue here. See, that's the selfish part of people. You should be, hell, you do whatever you want with your own life. We don't want to see you unalive yourself, but it's not just about you. It's what you could have done to somebody else, ma'am. I did receive citations, one of which was unrelated to the incident, which is understandable. But what was most surprising is that the car that almost hit me just drove away. Heifer, we don't give a damn about the car that almost, you probably was swerving all over the dotted. What are you talking about? You was probably so slant drunk, you don't know what happened. If we see the video, like, she could barely keep her head up. She was slurring. She didn't know if she was coming or going. So we're not going to take your account of what occurred, ma'am. This is a bit much. This is a bit much. And it says, and despite being found guilty on all count except reckless driving in December, HUGER's legal team vowed to continue to fight the court's decision. Yeah, man, but you've done it multiple times. Although we are disappointed in the jury's verdict, we of course respect their decision and appreciate their time hearing our case, her attorney A. Scott Bolden shared in a statement with People in December. We continue to reserve Mrs. HUGER's right to an appeal and intend to fully pursue justice on her behalf. We appreciate your support and prayers for Mrs. HUGER and her family at this time. In light of her ongoing legal troubles, Karen recently sought treatment at a rehabilitation facility and chose to skip filming the reality series Season 9 reunion in favor of getting help. And they're stating that she only did that because she was facing these steep charges. Like, Karen was not really previous to her knowing that she could go to prison. She was kind of like blowing it off, It says Karen made the important decision to enter a private recovery program, so was unable to attend the reunion taping today. Karen's manager, Ryan Tresdale, told Bravo's Daily Dish last month. She was fully supported in this choice. We stand behind Karen as she embarks on this meaningful journey and are proud of her for taking such a significant step forward in her personal growth. I feel like, she did go to that treatment, but probably did it around the time. Because this happened last year, okay, in March. She could have done this treatment thing like months ago, So she did it to me around the time of the Housewife airing, so that she didn't have to face the, the scrutiny of the other ladies on Real Housewives of Potomac. But let's listen to this video, and they're going to talk about it.
Real Housewives of Potomac star Karen HUGER has been found guilty. 9 months after the Bravo star was charged with multiple counts related to driving under the influence following a single-car collision, her rep confirms to People that she has been found guilty on nearly all counts. Karen's attorney, Scott Bolden, shares in a statement with the outlet, quote, "Although we are disappointed in the jury's verdict, we of course respect their decision and appreciate their time hearing our case." He adds, "We continue to reserve Mrs. HUGER's right to an appeal and intend to fully pursue justice on her behalf. We appreciate your support and prayers for Mrs. Huger and her family at this time. Karen was found guilty on all charges except reckless driving and is scheduled to be sentenced on January 29, 2025. Following the March 19th crash, police tell E! News at the time that Karen's car crossed a median and struck street signs. According to Maryland judiciary records obtained by E! News, the 61-year-old was charged with driving a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol, driving a vehicle while impaired by alcohol, negligent driving of a vehicle in a careless and imprudent manner, endangering property, life, and person, and reckless driving a vehicle in wanton and willful disregard for safety of persons and property. According to the records, she was also charged with failure to control vehicle speed on a highway to avoid collision, driving a vehicle in excess of reasonable and prudent speed on a highway, driving a vehicle on a highway with suspended registration, and failure of licensee to notify administration of changing an address within 30 days. Real Housewives of Potomac star Karen Huger has been found guilty. 9 months after the Bravo star was charged with multiple counts related to driving under the influence following a single-car collision, her rep confirms to People that she has been found guilty on nearly all counts. Karen's attorney, Scott Bolden, shares in a statement with the outlet, quote, "Although we are disappointed in the jury's verdict, we of course respect their decision and appreciate their time hearing our case." He adds, "We continue to reserve Mrs. Huger's right to an appeal and intend to fully pursue justice on her behalf. We appreciate your support and prayers for Mrs. Huger and her family at this time." Karen was found guilty on all charges except reckless driving and is scheduled to be sentenced.
Right, Lulu. Shout out to my co-host Lulu. Please go follow her at Lulu's World 93 on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Yes, but yeah, Lulu, like she seems like again still not taking accountability and very selfish in her responses.
On January 29th, 2025. Following the March 19th crash, police tell E! News at the time that Karen's car crossed a median and struck street signs. According to Maryland judiciary records obtained by E! News, the 61-year-old was charged with driving a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol, driving a vehicle while impaired by alcohol, negligent driving of a vehicle in a careless and imprudent manner, endangering property, life, and person, and reckless driving a vehicle in wanton and willful disregard for safety of persons and property. According to the records, she was also charged with failure to control vehicle speed on a highway to avoid collision, driving a vehicle in excess of reasonable and prudent speed on a highway, driving a vehicle on a highway with suspended registration, and failure of licensee to notify administration of changing an address within 30 days.
Wow, so the grand dame just thought she was all above the law. She had about 3 or 4 issues going on with her license, even to be driving and to be drinking. So I'm going to play another video. So we're going to go take a look back as to what she did, like the night that they discovered her drinking and driving. Yes, and shout out to Lulu again for saying fair use. Exactly, everything here is fair use. So I'm going to play a video that I did of her when she first when we first found out about this DUI. Hey, Scandal Squad, welcome back to the channel, Celebrity Scandalous. Y'all, I mean, I feel sorry for Karen Huger. This is really a bad look. This is the footage of her DUI. Giselle is going to wear her out. But y'all just stay tuned and check out the video. Let me know your thoughts after you watch it. Leave your comments. Whoo, child. Hey, Scandal Squad. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into the mess.
I'm Karen.
I would rather.
I don't like him.
I'd rather her not do a lot of talking at this point, anyhow, because she's probably a little bit upset after the thing. So she's.
Can I ask you where you're coming from tonight, ma'am?
She said she was coming from a friend's house.
Okay. Which way were you driving on Oakland?
Where you have it?
Were you coming from Bradley?
You have it?
I'll take a look.
Yes.
You're coming from Bradley?
Or wait. Well, you see it? Yes, thank you.
You were driving on Bradley or from Bradley. Do you remember the accident?
Yes.
Okay. What happened?
Y'all, Karen is so wasted out of her mind. She don't know what the hell happened. If y'all just what I just read in that article, she was saying that somebody almost hit her, which is as she was crying, that's why she swerved off the road. Girl, you was so wasted. You wouldn't know what was coming at you, girl.
Actually, nothing really.
Yeah, it's just that somebody ran you off the road.
They did.
Someone ran you off the road. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember that vehicle at all?
No.
No.
Oh, she said somebody ran her. Karen, you lying. She said somebody ran her off the road. She not saying that she ran herself off the road because she drinking and driving and should have took Uber and was have a drink when you should be on the road. Somebody ran her off the road. In her other statement, after she sobered up, she said she was crying and somebody tried to run into her and she, Lord, Karen, come on now.
You don't? Okay.
Wait.
You don't. I understand it. It's dark out here. Yeah.
Are you okay?
Let me ask you.
He's okay. He's still looking for your license.
No, Ray, we don't need him to do anything.
Karen, hold it.
Karen.
I'm looking for your license, baby.
How much you drink tonight?
I'll give you my license if you
No,
want.
I was out, but I'm good.
How much you had to drink though? That's my question.
See if your license is in here.
As soon as we catch fire.
Not yet.
Bowles probably already put one on. He's writing. Bowles is working on the 8th report, so it's probably on there. If not, just have him at it.
Yeah.
Make sure he doesn't have it already.
I think Bowles does.
Somebody have the license?
I think so.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I think Bowles. One of my.
All right, I'll check.
Can you answer everything
Okay,
for me
okay.
first?
Right.
Thank you, God.
No, Edward too. Karen, how much are you
No,
drinking
I'm
tonight?
talking to my husband.
Okay, can I talk
to my
with?
husband.
Talk,
Yeah.
I can't talk to your husband. He's not really involved in
Okay.
this incident.
Yeah.
He can help me translate or get you
No,
to
he
cooperate.
is. He is.
Okay.
He is. You're okay.
How much you drink tonight? How much?
Ray, are you good?
I'm good. I'm just saying, they're assuming that you had more than you should have.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that you had like a couple of beers or something
Yes,
like
that's
that.
all I had.
But,
Okay.
You had a couple of beers.
Check. That's it.
that's my assumption.
Okay.
I don't know for sure. I wasn't with her.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of beers you have, but that looked like more than a couple because I've had a couple of beers before. But damn, you look toe up.
I know, that's why I'm trying to communicate with her.
Yeah.
What kind of beer did you drink?
Ray, were we good? Sweetheart?
I don't see your license here.
I think one of my.
Somebody got them.
Yeah.
Hey, Loving Myself, welcome to the chat. Please hit the like button. Loving Myself, I was looking, you said you did a nail video and I went to look for it yesterday and I cannot find you on YouTube. I don't know what happened. I think I had subscribed to your channel, but I couldn't find you, but I was looking for it. Okay, you guys.
Somebody got it because the bag was right there.
Yeah.
All right. So,
We needed to write an accident report.
Okay.
it's okay.
So-
So, Ray, darling, what did you
Yes.
say?
I'm saying that you probably had a couple of beers.
Yes.
And you're coming back.
Yeah.
You said that you got run off the road.
I
I guess
did.
did you hit the tree here or something?
It looks like she hit the center median, came across the median,
I
and
did.
then hit this tree as well,
Okay,
or one of the.
dark,
Yeah.
hit the median, hit the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ray, can you pick my purse up
It
there?
doesn't take much.
No, it does not. Sweetheart, can you speak to me, please?
Okay.
Hey, your car's on fire. Your car's on fire. Get away from your car.
My car?
Still smoking?
It's on fire.
What's your name?
My name's Kyle.
I'm Karen. Thank you.
Y'all, this accident was so bad. The car's caught on fire. Now, if you look up in the, for me, it's the upper left-hand corner. This is her in the car with the police officer. She's still talking crazy. Look.
They call me the Grandon.
The Grandon.
I don't know what the fuck that's about. Andy Cohen did that. Go ahead.
The what?
Andy Cohen did that. They call me the Grandon. I'm black, I'm rich, and I own the plantation of and
Y'all, she was just twisted out of her mind. Lulu said,
Child, when I tell y'all this is terrible.
let me take that off. Yeah, everybody's talking about this. Is crazy. I mean, this is crazy. Lulu says the Lulu says the husband drunk too. She's always having one too many. I think Ray had to come to the scene of the crime. I don't think he was actually there when it all happened. But y'all see, Ray was trying to give her, like, trying to kind of help her along, like, okay, you were driving, you had 2 beers. Like, he's trying to coach her so that she don't tell on herself, because she's so drunk. She about to say, I had a whole bottle of Henny, right? And then he's trying to say, and you were run off the road. So he's like trying to keep everything cool for the police officer. She can't find her driver's license. They said her registration was suspended. I mean, she was a mess. But after 4 times, I mean, it's kind of a sad, at her age, I don't know how old Karen is, in her 60s. It's kind of sad to see her go out like this, but I feel like still at her age, she's too old. I'm just going to say, you too damn old. Okay, Loving Myself, I'll go look again. I'll go look for it. Thank you. Shout out to Loving Myself. You guys, please go follow her YouTube channel. I just feel like Karen is too damn old to be out here putting people's lives in jeopardy, drinking and driving. You are wealthy enough to get an Uber. You could have a chauffeur. You could have a limo, anything. But now, and people make mistakes all the time. But this is the 4th time. This is the 4th time. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to play this video of you guys that are just joining. I'm going to go ahead and play her sentence. Well, she was sentenced, but the fact that she's going to be spending time in prison. For those of you that are just joining, I'm going to play this for you so you can hear it.
Real Housewives of Potomac star Karen HUGER has been found guilty. 9 months after the Bravo star was charged with multiple counts related to driving under the influence following a single car collision, her rep confirms to People that she has been found guilty on nearly all counts. Karen's attorney, Scott Bolden, shares in a statement with the outlet, quote, "Although we are disappointed in the jury's verdict, we of course respect their decision and appreciate their time hearing our case." He adds, "We continue to reserve Mrs. HUGER's right to an appeal and intend to fully pursue justice on her behalf. We appreciate your support and prayers for Mrs. HUGER and her family at this time." Karen was found guilty on all charges except reckless driving and is scheduled to be sentenced on January 29, 2025. Following the March 19th crash, police tell E! News at the time that Karen's car crossed a median and struck street signs. According to Maryland judiciary records obtained by E! News, the 61-year-old was charged with driving a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol, driving a vehicle while impaired by alcohol, negligent driving of a vehicle in a careless and imprudent manner, endangering property, life, and person, and reckless driving a vehicle in wanton and willful disregard for safety of persons and property. According to the records, she was also charged with failure to control vehicle speed on a highway to avoid collision, driving a vehicle in excess of reasonable and prudent speed on a highway, driving a vehicle on a highway with suspended registration, and failure of licensee to notify administration of changing an address within 30 days.
Yeah, you guys. So she has been found guilty and sentenced. She has been sentenced now to. She was sentenced to 2 years, but they're giving her 1 year suspended. Okay, I'm trying to get this to play.
It's 11:15. I'm Steve Sheneby, the Fox 5 Newsroom. We'll get back to Lion Lunch Hour in just a minute, but first wanted to bring you this breaking news. First on Fox 5 and just into the Fox 5 Newsroom, we do have a sentence for Real Housewife of Potomac star Karen HUGER, just now sentenced to 1 year in jail. Prosecutors have been looking for a 2-year sentence with all but 6 months suspended. In this case, the judge made a different decision, deciding that Karen HUGER should go to jail for 1 year. Now, this all goes back to the accident in which she was ultimately convicted of DUI. That accident happening in Montgomery County last year, just about 1 year ago. And then, of course, she took this to trial and was convicted in December of last year. So a few months ago today.
Now, what I don't know is if she could have had a plea. Did they offer a plea deal where she could have gotten less time? Did she really think that she wasn't guilty?
It was sentencing day. And again, that sentence coming down just a short time ago, 1 year in prison for Real Housewives of Potomac star Karen HUGER. Now, Bob Barnett has been in the courtroom. We're going to check in with Bob in just a few minutes. We'll find out more as to what actually happened and transpired inside of that courtroom. Bob said it was a very, very busy place. There were a lot of people there with a sentencing. You will typically have people that will make the victim impact statements. You will hear from people on both sides who are essentially speaking on behalf of the person who was about to be sentenced. We don't know at this point until we hear from Bob if any of her cast.
You guys, please hit the like button. Let's get those likes up. Please hit the like button.
For their speaking on her behalf or not. We'll get all that information for you shortly. But we also know that prosecutors had been pushing the fact that she had 3 prior DUI cases in her lifetime. That's why they were in this case and not the full sentence to be suspended. So again, at this point, what we know from the court is that the actual jail time is said to be a 1-year sentence in jail. Waiting for the rest of the details as to whether the sentence was longer than that, with some of that time period suspended or not. You're taking a look right there on the bottom of your screen. That is the front door to the Montgomery County Courthouse in Rockville. I can let you know from what we were hearing from our reporting earlier today, there had been some question when she first arrived at court. Would she try to have a little attention, go in through the doors, have the cameras rolling, that type of thing? That did not happen. Some speculating maybe the entrance in itself, the appearance would be part of a through line, perhaps on Real Housewives. That did not happen. Essentially, she was able to go into the courthouse through a back entrance. There's no fanfare, anything like that, no cameras. Just was able to essentially sneak into the courtroom that way, as we kind of keep an eye on the door there to see if anybody is coming in or out at this point, as we wait to hear more details from Bob as well. But that is what we know right now as far as the potential, well, it would be the sentence at this point after the conviction a little more than 2 months ago in December in Montgomery County. Some of the folks who are coming in and out of court, just to keep in mind, this has nothing to do with her case in a lot of
You guys, please hit the like button. Let's get the likes up. You guys know, I would imagine Giselle, I think the whole cast is going to be there because, you know, a lot of them didn't like her, the Grand Dame. I bet you a lot of those, her co-stars are going to be there.
She was not the only person who had a sentencing hearing today in Montgomery County. So we're going to get Bob coming in just a few minutes, and we'll catch up with Bob as soon as we do hear from him. And we get a little more information, again, as to who was in the courtroom, who was perhaps giving that victim impact statement. Well, it wouldn't even be the victim impact statement, but for the persons who was being sentenced at this point. And we can find out a little bit more. So we'll he's coming out of the courthouse right now. We'll give him a second to get situated. But again, there you see.
Now, there are a couple discrepancies. What I've seen online is that she's sentenced to 1 year in prison. And then I also have seen that she's sentenced to 1 year in jail. So I'm not sure.
Big screen. This is some of the also exclusive video that we had from the arrest as she crashed her Maserati in Montgomery County just about a year ago. This was last March of 2024. And again, that is what led the case to go to trial. Some saying, question that decision in itself as to whether to take a plea or go to trial. She decided to take this to trial. Of course, that ended up with a conviction. And then after the conviction in December, they set today as the sentencing date. It was a fairly long court appearance today, but the end result is 1 year in prison for Real Housewives of Potomac star Karen HUGER. Bob's outside the courtroom right now, outside of the courthouse. He's made his way out of the courtroom. So let's check back in with him now and find out a little bit more. And Bob, we were just curious as to, the proceeding itself, what played out in court, how many people were in there, who was it that may have made a statement on her behalf at the hearing, and if any of her castmates were in the courtroom.
Yeah, Steve, one of her castmates, the daughter of Chuck Brown, was there. I spoke to her on the way up. She did not testify. The only person actually testified besides Karen Huger was her husband, Raymond, who, I've got tons of notes, so I'm not going to try to read them here, but I will just kind of paraphrase, just saying that, she was a good person, worked hard in recent weeks to try to make good on what happened in March of last year. Karen Huger herself, before the sentencing, told the judge she was sorry, that this was a wake-up call, that she was going to try to work hard on her sobriety, attend AA meetings for the...
Shout out to Lulu. Yes, please. Can y'all get the likes up? Somebody hit the like button, please. So who is Chuck Brown? He said one of the people in the, who appeared in court was Chuck Brown. I don't know who that castmate is. I don't know.
The rest of her life and be an advocate for, promoting people not to drink and drive. The state had asked for 2 years of incarceration, suspending all but 6 months. But Judge Terrence McGann, he listened and seemed open to the arguments that Ms. Huger's basically laid down the law. He blasted the guidelines that the he was making, but at the end basically laid down the law. He blasted the guidelines that the state and the judicial system here are kind of operating under, thinking that the punishment should have been more. They were very careful. Someone at one point was blogging on Reddit, so they told everybody, you've got to shut off your phones. I didn't turn mine off. I made sure it was silent. So that's when, as soon as the judge said, I'm not going to follow the state's recommendation, I'll sentence you to 2 years in incarceration, suspending all but 1 year. That the state was looking for 6 months in jail. He said, no, it's going to be a year. He said, you've had 4 offenses in the last 17 years. What are we waiting for the 5th before we actually sentence you to jail time? So as soon as they announced that it was 1 year in jail, I was able to sneak out a text to our producers. But
shout out to that judge, because he may have saved somebody's life. I'm sorry. I know she's the grand dame. I know you're a celebrity and you guys think that you are above the law. But Lord, I think he saved somebody, because this lady, this is the 4th time. Ma'am, are you nuts?
We really stayed there for the rest of the way to see kind of what else was imposed. And there's something like $2,900 in fines and 5 years of probation once she serves a year in jail or prison. They were talking about her serving her time behind bars here in Montgomery County, but that after she gets out after 1 year, she'll not be able to drive a car at all for another year.
Dang, that, woo. So she got 5 years probation. She cannot drive for a year. And I also saw another report where they said she'll have to have like that little breath thing on her car, like if she on her car before she can drive. And that's expensive to get those things added.
And then when she is allowed, obviously not to drive after drinking alcohol, and that she'll need an interlock device, which is something that her attorney was offering up right away, saying that if they could see it to either have her on home detention or just on probation, that she already was willing to install those interlocking devices and attend regular AA meetings. In terms of like her reaction,
get the likes up, y'all. Please smash the like button. Yes, the interlock device. So she's got to get that added to her car to even be able to drive. Wow, this is crazy.
Not too much. When her husband Ray stood up behind her to offer testimony to the judge, she kind of looked ahead, didn't seem to acknowledge him, and then at one point was wiping away tears, and then did look back at him before he sat down. It was a packed courtroom. There's a very large courtroom here at the Circuit Courthouse here in Rockville, which a lot of big cases usually have. This was in a smaller courtroom on the 8th floor, but it was packed. The judge allowed people to stand. John McCarthy, the state's attorney, who we'll hopefully hear from at some point, was actually sitting in a folding chair in the center aisle with other people. So it was a packed courtroom. No real audible reaction when the judge, harshly sentenced Karen Huger to 1 year in jail. And she didn't really react either, Steve. And I had a chance, as I was walking out here, one of the jurors, a jury found her guilty back in December of driving under the influence of alcohol. She didn't want to go on camera, but said she was actually surprised by this verdict, had told me that was not really expecting the judge to come down as hard as he did. Again, his demeanor throughout before he started talking was very casual and cordial. And then he seemed visibly angry. And I have quotes in here, if you give me a second, some of the things that the judge said in imposing the sentence, were really harsh. There's all the details of the sentence. If you give me 1 second, he did mention, that there was some talk about her blaming her accident in March in Potomac on the fact that she had mixed anti-anxiety and antidepressive medications with alcohol. The judge said, you were filled to the gills with alcohol. And he blasted.
Ooh, the judge said you was high as a giraffe. You know what, y'all? So the judge is like, I don't want to hear that ish. I mean, you're admittedly, you boozing, you pill popping. Girl, come on now. The judge is like, I don't have no sympathy for that. Like, seriously, 4 times, Karen. I mean, look what you did to the car. That could have been somebody's life you did that to. Y'all, let's get the likes up. Come on now.
Blasted her for her behavior at the time of her arrest and scolding the officers. Before the sentencing, her attorney handed the judge 3 one-page letters that she wrote to each of the 3 officers who were on the scene last March 19th, right before midnight, apologizing for her behavior that night and thanking them for their service. Steve?
Just to follow up on, Bob, one, you mentioned the possibility of her serving the sentence in Montgomery County. Did the judge give any further instructions as to where this sentence should be carried out? And second of all, does it start right away?
It does start right away. I spoke to John McCarthy as we were leaving the courtroom, because I wanted to get out here, and the judge dismissed everyone, but she was still standing there at the defense table. And I asked John McCarthy, does this jail sentence, whatever you want to call it, prison sentence, begin right away? And he said, oh yeah, it starts today. So she's going right to jail. And the judge mentioned,
right, Lulu, 4 times too many. Please get the likes up, you guys.
He didn't say like the Montgomery County Jail, Montgomery County Adult Detention Center. He said something about, you'll serve this in the state of Maryland, something, and then he said here in Montgomery County. So she is going to be, in a sense, a prisoner of the state of Maryland, but serve that, I can only presume, at the jail up in.
Find out. Bob Barnard, thank you very much. Appreciate your coverage, rushing out of the courtroom to bring us the latest information inside the courtroom as Real Housewives of Potomac star the Grande Dame sentenced to 1 year in prison. It was a 2-year sentence for Karen HUGER, 1 year suspended. As Bob mentioned, after that, another year of not driving, a 5-year probation at the end of that sentence as well. So big news coming out of the Montgomery County courtroom this morning when it comes to the Real Housewives of Potomac star Karen HUGER. We'll keep you posted throughout the rest of the day.
Wow, so that's breaking news and very unfortunate news for Karen. Hopefully she will learn a lesson. Glad that nobody was injured. I mean, this is just shocking. Karen is, I don't know how old Karen is, but she had plenty of time, ample time, opportunities. 3 times they let her off the hook. Offered to get her treatment, which she didn't do. Decided to go on vacations and to continue filming instead of getting help. So Karen is going to be serving a 1-year prison sentence. But y'all, we got some other news. Let's shift gears here. We're doing a wig shift. So now we're gonna talk about Diddy, y'all. So we're gonna go to, y'all know I got to do this little ghetto thing up in here. So we're going to go to the Breakfast Club. Diddy's team filed an opposition to Tony Buzzbee's, how do they say it? I need to be looking at it. Viche Hawk, whatever. Basically asking that he be allowed to practice in the Southern District. So for the civil cases that he has lodged. So, he kind of screwed that up. So Diddy's team has come and did a motion to oppose it, and there's a pending order. So we're going to get into that, and that was filed late yesterday. So we're going to listen to what everybody's opinion is before I give my opinion, and then just kind of talk about it. And of course, there are legal analysts that are, that are weighing in on this, and they're really saying that that this technicality. I mean, we already know that Buzzbee dismissed some cases, but that this was a big screw up on his part. And I agree, as a lawyer, when you do something like this, there are rules of the court, local rules that you should be, especially if it's out of your jurisdiction and out of your state. Those are some of the first things that you should be looking up before you're filing. However, just the fact that he screwed this part up makes me still lean into the fact that this was more of a money grab and a smear campaign than just trying to protect the interests of his clients. I think he felt that a lot of these attorneys, well, Diddy's already behind bars, but some of the other celebrities, I feel like he just felt that people were going to fold, and we saw the resistance of Jay-Z, and we see how that ended. So I really feel like he didn't take the time to go through the procedures. He's an attorney. That's like law 101. You're supposed to, the basics is that you understand the rules of court in the jurisdiction or the local areas that you're filing. So the fact that he jumped all of those hurdles and was trying to go ahead and represent his clients in those counties, in that county, their district, I don't think it's gonna bode well for him. But anyway, let's go. Let me go here. Let me see. So I want to present. This is the part of this that just So okay, hold on, you guys. I'm about to play The Breakfast Club.
I keep telling y'all that this ain't just with the mess. Now, go ahead, Lauren. What we got going on with Diddy?
Okay, so
talking to the microphone.
I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I just moved up. Okay, so we've been talking, and remember I told you guys that I broke the story about attorney Anthony Buzzbee, who is the attorney that filed all those civil lawsuits against Puff. So the last time we talked about this, we talked about a letter that came from a grievances committee, kind of ethics committee, that said that he was denied the ability to practice within the Southern District of New York. That confused a lot of people because he then posted saying that he is able to practice within New York State Court.
Yeah, so just to clarify a couple of things. So some people are saying that he's been disbarred or banned from practicing in the state of New York. No, that's not the case. It's just that he can't practice at this point in that jurisdiction, which I think is the Southern District, where he fought all those cases against Diddy.
In New York, in the Southern District of New York, are two different jurisdictions. Federal and state are different. Now, Diddy's team, I got an alert this morning at around a little after midnight. They submitted a letter to the court. It's called a memorandum of law, and they're opposing Buzzbee's submission to operate as pro hac vice. So I was saying pro hac vice earlier, but shout out to my new lawyer community that I have. It's pro hac vice, which is where I told you guys, like, he'll come in with a local attorney because he's not able to work in that jurisdiction, but the local attorney can.
Right.
So he had to go back and ask for permission to do that on all Puff's civil cases in the Southern District of New York after this denial happened, right? So Puff's team, they're allowed to write and say, hey, this is how we feel about it, because this is the person in question that is being in conversation, as in Diddy. And they're saying no. They're saying we oppose his request to operate as pro hac vice or operate with a local attorney. We don't do this lightly either. They say, look, we never do this. We never do not allow an attorney the right to litigate. Like, by law, we think all attorneys should, but this is wrong. This is wrong because there's been misconduct. He's gone against his attorney privilege as far as like there's rules that you're supposed to follow, and he didn't do it.
I feel like he should have just did that from the beginning.
I don't.
Like, you got to measure twice to cut once. I feel like he didn't do that.
I am so waiting to see what Attorney Buzzbee is going to specifically say in response to this, outside of just, I can operate in New York State. Because when I say that this doesn't make any sense of how this was a misstep,
you know why? Because I think a lot of those lawyers aren't looking at the legality of the situation. Those lawyers are just looking for the smear campaign. So those lawyers are telling these people, hey, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, meaning pay us, then we're going to go to the press, we're going to file a lawsuit. And so they just do it in hopes that eventually these guys will just settle, and then he'll just drop it, and nobody will it'll never get to this point.
He was looking for the settlement. He didn't necessarily want to go to trial.
This is insane.
So he can pretty much escape. Well, he may be able to escape.
Yeah, I mean, as an attorney, your job is to find a loophole, and I honestly think that Puff's team has found it. Whatever Attorney Buzzbee.
Now, the whole thing about it is the fact that, remember, you guys, when we talked about it, the fact that Jay-Z, they found a technicality and they were able to get him to dismiss the other case. And remember, so as we listen to what they're saying, the key thing here is the fact that they were already filing sanctions against him. So all of this stuff is going to play a role in the judge's decision. I mean, I didn't read the memorandum that was filed, but you have to think about it. If they were already has sanctions filed against you, that means he's done some things that the court is not going to look favorably upon. And so to me, this is going to be an uphill climb. I'm going to say, based on the information that I haven't read the memorandum yet, I'm going to say that the judge is going to say a no, because they really take those things seriously. Those are critical elements of filing a case. When you are a legal secretary, if you miss filing timelines, deadlines, just technical things, you can screw up a whole case. So I don't see a judge approving this after some of the missteps that he's made. So let's continue.
He is going to throw back as like, hey, no, that's not true, or hey, I did this or whatever. Would don't be the saving grace. But the fact that he's actually filing for this pro hac vice, which is like, yo, can I work with a local attorney? It shows you that like he knows that he might be in trouble on these civil suits. And they specifically point out he's been active in across 22 filings without permission to practice in the Southern District of New York. And in that letter from the Grievances Committee, you guys remember when I mentioned it, they said, you've already been acting as if you have admission or permission to operate within this jurisdiction. This only came to our attention January 29th because of the amended filing.
So those are things that you can be disbarred for. Okay. So, I mean, the fact that he's, misrepresenting or trying to, you can't represent a client in court if you're not licensed in that jurisdiction. So the fact that he's already done that, he's an attorney. He's supposed to know this. That is not going to help. That I don't think the judge is going to approve it. I don't.
That had Jay-Z's name attached to it, because that team has said, yo, he's not doing this right. Like admissions haven't been submitted.
All these people care about is money and the pressure they can put on a person to make that person break to pay the goddamn money.
That's it.
That's all it is.
Because they'll put you through hell. They'll send all types of letters to you to get you to do all types of things. But let me ask you a question. Can those people that were using Buzzbee go to another attorney that's in this jurisdiction and do the same thing?
So I thought about that as well too. And I think at this point, even if they try to move it, other jurisdictions, other attorneys, working with those local attorneys, removing Buzzbee from it, I think it just has a bad taste to it now, because even though like people will look at this as like a technicality, right? Like and technicalities can be very small, but in a court of law, if there's rules and you don't go by them, it's just not a good thing. You're an attorney. We're supposed to be able to trust that you're going to do by the book everything, because you're talking about throwing accusations on a person that are very serious. So it's just, they can't. I believe that they can.
Because if I'm hiring an attorney, I would think that the attorney knows what he's doing. I'm hiring you for your expertise, and if you don't and you're messing up, I can go to another attorney that maybe has a better expertise or a better knowledge of definitely the jurisdiction.
I don't know what the what is for in regards to legal, but boy, they've created some good stories though. I mean, these have been better than Zane Sex Chronicles, haven't they?
They have not been good stories. They have the same damn stories.
No, they've created some good stories out of this.
Not just
There's been some good stories.
Well, homeboy said he was in the shower.
Come on,
and
now.
these are all alleged.
Like,
come on now.
It's a lot. Come on. No. And then they all got the same story, same ending. Oh my God.
You like my jewelry? Come on now. Remember that one?
I like it. No, he didn't say that. No, he said he complimented it first. I like your necklace. He said, "Oh, I got something else for you to like." Like, come on.
You ever gave fellatio?
I am gonna reach out.
Well, you should try. Like, come on, this is crazy.
But all this does is, like you said, it smears what Puff is doing, regardless. So if Puff's attorney has
the fact that Buzzbee screwed up so egregiously, this really is going to make it hard for those cases he filed. The people are not going to take them as serious. This was a huge misstep. It was
an opportunity to sue Buzzbee. I think they should do the same thing Hov is doing and sue.
We'll see what happens. We're going to see how it plays out. I will reach out to Attorney Buzzbee, as I always do on both sides, and just see what his response to this is. But I knew that this was going to happen. Like I said months ago, with Jay-Z doing what he did with that case, even though he's not fighting for Diddy, he's fighting for himself. It was going to open up a whole new can of worms on the Diddy side.
But also let the record show, because the internet is stupid. This is the civil case you're talking about.
Yes,
it ain't got
civil.
nothing to do with Diddy criminal case.
Attorney Buzzbee's case is civil, but they did start filing stuff on the criminal side too. I think they're going to try and use it on both sides. So again, we'll keep you guys updated. I'm gonna reach out to Attorney Buzzbee. We'll see what he says, if he says anything, because he's given me no comment a couple times on these things. So.
Well, thank you, Lauren.
You're welcome, Justin.
Next hour you got what? Dirt.
Yeah, Dirt got some
a lot of
little
little
things
updates
happening as well.
So
too.
more litigiousness with Lauren.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, when we come back, we got front page news, and then
Hey, welcome, Cream Brielle. How you doing? Welcome to the Celebrity Scandalous group chat. Cream Brielle says facts plus the gender law Buzzbee utilized to file these cases expires this week, I believe. Yeah, he's a S Creek, right? I mean, he's really screwed this up. That is the basis. He's just supposed to know. And I believe they said that he had co-counsel that were attorneys from New York. It's like, why didn't they tell him, or why didn't he allow them to be the lead on these cases, right? You know why? Because he wanted the money. I mean, listen, it's too many. The fact that he already has sanctions filed against him, I think he's better tread lightly. He's already dismissed from what I recall, it's already been about 6 or 7 cases that he withdrew. So I don't understand his strategy here. But let me go ahead and read what they said. There was an article that came out about this. 1 second, you guys. So it says, let me see if you guys could see it. Let me take this off. Okay, so here's the article. It says, Diddy's lawyers go after lawyer Tony Buzzbee in new docs, warning of egregious misconduct. So, yeah, they filed the document late last night. Oh, and before we get to that, I just saw that allegedly there may even be another lawsuit. This is a new one, so I haven't seen this one. So let's go ahead and play this as well. Let me read it to you. It says an anonymous plaintiff filed a lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for Southern New York, accusing Combs of forced labor, human and sex trafficking, battery, assault, and false imprisonment. The former musician claims he was drugged, coerced into strip shows, by Combs multiple times, and blackmailed with hidden camera footage. Well, y'all know they say Diddy did that to everybody. According to the anonymous man's lawsuit, he was a top performer in the Las Vegas adult scene when he met Revolt TV founder in 2007. Oh, so a lot of these people aligned or associated, they were ex-workers. Not to say that you should be taken advantage of just because you were an ex-worker, but it's kind of hard for me to reconcile the fact that you were selling Buzzbee for money anyway. I'm just saying. Wait, did y'all just catch that? Okay, y'all look. I know it's real small on the screen, but this is one of the videos where people show how I think Cassie and him had a falling out. Somebody went back and did a timeline of all their fights and stuff. And so they had some situation and they were on the red carpet and they show how they were smiling, and y'all look how Diddy kind of pushes her to him. Check this out. So that's abusive when you with somebody and then they kind of behind the scenes whispering something mean in your ear. Okay, you guys see if you can see it too. Further, let me go. Okay. Combs allegedly hired him through an agency for private strip shows, during which the man drank the beverages offered to him and applied the baby oil. Okay. According to the lawsuit, the oil left him feeling disoriented, numb, and trapped in his own body. I don't know. This is a crazy one because there are new reports saying that if you put GHB in baby oil, that it is not absorbed through the skin. It has to be either orally taken or through an orifice, like through a body, like a hole in the body or something. So I don't know about that. The man claims Combs instructed him to perform acts while the rapper engaged with women. Okay. One of those freak offs. The man alleges Combs offered to listen to his music and help advance his career. So these people were complicit as well. Like, if you know this man is having you bend over and sucking and all of this stuff, but you're willing to continue because you think it's going to help your music, I have to look at you a little sideways too. I'm sorry. This led him to accept invitations to travel to various U.S. cities to impress Combs and earn the chance to become successful in the music industry. If a person is making you do things outside your moral boundaries, then you should be skeptical. But if you're doing it for financial gain, you are part of the problem. You put yourself in this situation. His attorney, Lisa Bloom, claims that roughly 5 years, Combs misled and manipulated him with promises that never materialized. Well, I mean, for 5 years, sir, 5 years. See, some of this stuff don't sit well with me. I'm sorry. Cream Brielle is saying, if you check Pacer, that New York lawyer he utilized filed so many errors and had to resubmit. I wouldn't be, that Queen Brielle, trust me, I know I used to have to file on behalf of the attorneys. That's what I used to do. And at some point, like if you have that many errors is out of your jurisdiction, you shouldn't probably be bringing the cases forth, or you should be secondary on the cases, right? If it's in a different jurisdiction. That's why I don't think he's going to do well. I just don't. I don't. And I think it's bad for real victims. If some of these people are true victims, it's going to be oh well. Two anonymous women, represented by attorney Tony Buzzbee, have also filed lawsuits against Combs in New York County Supreme Court, alleging he assaulted them in the 1990s. One lawsuit claims a woman who was involved in the New York hip-hop scene in the 1990s was assaulted by the producer on multiple occasions. And I just read in his lips, he is saying that's his daughter, Chance. In 1997, while working bottle service at his white party, she claimed, though this is another person, in 1997, while working bottle service at his white party, she claimed she was rugged and vaginally assaulted by Combs' associates at Combs' direction while Combs was present. In the late 1990s, she alleges Combs took her and a friend to a Trump Hotel penthouse against their will. They were allegedly rugged and forced to participate in group activities. Can y'all get the likes up? Please hit the like button. Smash the like button, you guys, please. The second lawsuit, filed by a woman who was also an active member of New York's hip-hop industry, alleges that Combs forced her into group activities at a private party in the 1990s. In a second incident, she claims that after an argument with Combs' security guard, he took her to the Trump Hotel and assaulted her as Combs watched before forcing her and a friend into group activities. Lord have mercy. Woo. In response to the latest lawsuits, Combs' legal team has reiterated his innocence. Well, we know. Diddy, you did some of this ish, okay? You are by far not innocent. Come on now. Stating that he has never assaulted or trafficked anyone. Bad Boy Records founder is currently awaiting trial, scheduled for May 2025. I think that trial is going to be pushed back. I mean, there's so many twists and turns in this case. I feel like they're going to have a continuance on charges of trafficking, assault, and racketeering at the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center. So do you guys think this trial is going to start on time? I don't. I don't think it's going to start on time because, you know, they're talking about so much evidence, all this video, the footage, and Diddy's team is saying that they don't even have all the discovery, all of the images and the videos and stuff. So as it gets closer to trial, you know, I just think it's going to be so much. I just don't think they're going to be able to, you know, I just don't think it's going to start on the day, you know, like the beginning of May, because I believe it's supposed to start May 5th, 2025. But anyway, so this says Sean Diddy Combs' defense team is taking aim at the lawyer representing a large share of the music mogul's alleged victims. And these are the civil cases. Although we know a civil case, just like with Cassie, can transfer into a criminal case if the, you know, if they decide to, you know, do an indictment or look at the allegations in the civil cases. In a new motion filed yesterday, Combs' lawyer opposed Tony Buzzbee's request to represent a client in the Southern District of New York, despite not being licensed there, also known as Pro Hoc Vice admission. Buzzbee, who is based in Texas, has become the public face of the civil side of Combs' legal woes, representing a slate of alleged victims, many of them unnamed. Now, in the legal sphere, for those of you that just aren't familiar, Jay-Z called him an ambulance chaser. I think he called him like a 1-800. And if you're in the legal sector, generally when you're attorneys generally look down on attorneys that it's probably changed a little bit, but when you're going on television and having commercials, they generally, like the more elite attorneys, that's not what they do, because they know that based on their reputation, they're going to get the best cases, so they don't have to advertise like that. You're usually going to see your little small mom and pop attorneys doing this, having 1-800 call me. You know, it's just a fact. But the more elite, like that are dealing with the multi-million, I bet you Spiro don't have one. I'm just saying. But anyway, it says he has opted for it says representing a slate of alleged victims, many of them unnamed. He has opted for bold tactics like providing a 1-800 number for potential clients. That is just looked at like tacky in the legal world, to come forward and holding a press conference detailing what he alleged is a pattern of abuse by Combs left unchecked over decades. Now, not saying that, you know, his clients aren't victims, but when you do like the 1-800 and you're doing those billboards and stuff, you're usually looked at as kind of tacky. And like Jay-Z called him an ambulance chaser. I mean, it just is tacky in the legal world. I'm just saying. In our collective decades of practice, undersigned counsel have never opposed a Pro Hoc Vici application, and we do not do so lightly. Here, the filing reads, but Buzzbee's egregious misconduct warrants denial of the privilege of appearing in this district. Those sanctions are also going to weigh in on the decision the judge has about this, because you remember in the case against Diddy and Jay-Z, they were asking for sanctions. So this all tells me more than likely it won't be approved. USA Today has reached out to Buzzbee for comment. The filing cites Buzzbee's numerous pending civil suits in the Southern District of New York, where Combs' legal team argues he failed to disclose he had not yet received permission to represent his clients. That's huge. That is huge. The filing from Combs' team cites a recent case brought by Buzzbee that also ensnared, like I said, rapper Jay-Z. The suit, which has since been dropped with prejudice, accused both Combs and Jay-Z of, assaulting a teenager in 2000. After the civil suit was dropped, Combs' team, which often directed ear at Buzzbee, told the USA Today the complete dismissal without settlement by the 1-800 attorney is yet exactly, is yet another confirmation that these lawsuits are built on falsehoods, not facts. See, that's the problem. Some of these people probably have legitimate lawsuits, but the person representing them, Buzzbee, he has kind of screwed up his case, y'all. He has messed up his reputation in terms of, them looking at his cases real. Like it's a problem. These people need to substitute him out and get counsel somebody else, probably in the New York Southern District ASAP. Buzzbee declined to comment to the USA Today at the time. I mean, he already knows he screwed up. I think Buzzbee's aim was just kind of to make a name for himself. I know he's had some other cases where he's done extremely well, but sometimes these attorneys are egomaniacs and they just want to be out there. He wants to be part of one of the biggest cases of the century, and he didn't do his homework. Prior to the suit's dismissal, Jay-Z's defense team pointed out that Buzzbee had not received pro hoc vice in the Southern District of New York, a technicality which assisted in getting that case against Jay-Z withdrawn, dismissed. It doesn't mean Jay-Z is innocent. However, I personally didn't think that he had done that. Not saying that he's innocent. Innocent of other things, but see how a technicality can just disrupt your whole friggin' case. But rather had received it in the Eastern District and was planning to apply for reciprocal admission. Buzzbee then applied and was denied on February 13th. The filing from Combs' lawyer notes. That's another thing, like I said, as you get so close to these filing deadlines, getting so close, if you miss a deadline, the case can be dismissed. The fact that he waited up until a day or so before, that's a bad move. He should have done it sooner than later, because if it was denied, he could have appealed it. He could have refiled. He could have amended. So you wait to the last hour when they say no, and then it's a done deal, okay? The fact that he was denied once needs to be noted in any future application for practice in the Southern District. The motion argues, claiming that Buzzbee only reapplied to practice in the district at the buzzer in this case, the last minute, and has failed to do so for his other civil proceedings. He is carrying on as if he's already had permission, Combs' legal team says, and that's a big no-no. I mean, that just don't fly in the courts. It just doesn't. Let's see. Let me continue. Hold on, you guys. The screen kind of. Wait a minute. I hate when they do this. So it's circularly or circling. It just kind of popped off the screen. Let me get back. Okay, let's see. Okay. So it says, and so there's Buzzbee right there. For nearly 5 months. 5 months, y'all. That's a long time. 5 months, Buzzbee has filed case after case in the district against Combs in the name of anonymous plaintiffs without seeking admission of any kind and without disclosing his lack of admission. That right there is enough to get all of those cases dropped, period. I mean, multiple cases, 5 months. These are some of the first things you do. I don't know like the steps, because I don't even know how their filings are in federal court and stuff. But the fact that he waited so late, you filed multiple cases, trust me, the judge is going to look at that and say, no, like, you're not even following the laws of court. How can we trust that you're going to argue the case legitimately? Like, it's going to look bad for his victims. It is. In his own filings in the Jay-Z matter, Buzzbee has characterized the issue as an inadvertent paperwork error, while Combs' team says it casts doubt on his ability to conduct himself professionally and ethically. Plus, we can't forget those sanctions. This is just bad. It's just bad. Buzzbee's frequent public statements also raise concerns. The filing argues, citing a media blitz in which he promoted his client's anticipated testimony, including claims of alleged abuse of children, which he's not brought that forth. There's been no proof, by referencing a federal case in which Combs faces charges of trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in that word. Buzzbee also violated a New York procedural rule. Now they're saying he violated something, which is also going to bode poorly against him, a New York procedural rule that bars attorneys from opinioning on separate criminal matters, the filing says. So this man has just done way more than he should. Combs, who is awaiting trial in Brooklyn jail, is facing a near apocalyptic legal fight. Buzzbee civil suits are just one portion of a large number brought by individual plaintiffs, while the criminal case, set to kick off in trial in May, alleges the producer transformed his multifaceted business empire into a criminal enterprise, which oversaw kidnappings, forced labor, and trafficking, among other crimes. So Diddy's team last night filed in opposition to them allowing him to be able to argue those cases. So we're his team also, Buzzbee's team also provided an order for the judge to sign. So this has not been approved yet, so we'll have to wait and see. But I predict, I mean, this is just my prediction. I just don't think it's going to be signed, and I could be wrong. Hell, there's a lot of stuff we don't get to see. You know, there's just other stuff that publicly, you know, just little details that we don't know. But I'm going to say that Buzzbee is going to have to drop the remainder of those cases and or allow his clients to substitute a new attorney into the cases, because this is a mess. It's just a mess. But y'all, that's all I have for now, and we'll have to wait and see. And I will see y'all on the next video. Don't forget, life is not a one size fits all. So do you, boo. Do you. And I'll see y'all later. Bye.